So today I'm going to be unboxing my new Rapsodo MLM2 Pro, going through everything that you get in the box and explaining the key reasons why I think that this is probably the best budget launch monitor for people that are serious about practicing and improving their game. We'll start by just removing the outer sort of plastic, obviously that the box comes in. Just take the lid off. Okay, so in it we've obviously got the launch monitor in this kind of fabric-y carry case alongside the Chromesoft X Rapsodo RPT golf balls. And these really are what makes the MLM2 Pro unique and particularly special amongst other launch monitors in this sort of price bracket. I'll just open up the carry case. We have, see, all of the cables. So you've got a normal USB-C charging cable, which may sound like a really simple thing, but actually that's much better than quite a few of the other ones in this, like some of the Mevo products, the FlightScope products, where they have their own unique charging cable, the old USB type charging port. So this one, you probably have a ton more cables similar to this. And then we obviously have the stand that comes with it, and the actual sort of main launch monitor itself. Got obviously the instruction manual with how to set it up. And then that is it, really quite simple with what comes in the case. So first we'll look at the stand, which is quite simple but also quite clever. Split apart into two parts. Like that, where you have this kind of front hook over here on the right hand side, which you can use for putting your phone on, either so that when you hit shots, you can actually record your golf swing with it. So you can obviously put the data next to the golf swing that you had, and also just so that you can, see the data displayed straight away after you have hit a shot. Alternatively, this front bit can also then split into further two parts. Obviously, so it then acts much more as a tripod, which is obviously just a lot more stable, so you can use it like this. If you're outside, maybe it's windier, or you're just not using your phone and you'd rather have that added kind of balance. The main unit itself then is actually pretty special in this sort of price range because it has both Doppler and camera system. So it basically, the Doppler system tracks the golf ball as it actually flies through the air. This is what quite a few different things use. Obviously, this is what TrackMan uses. The more budget, like Garmin R10 or PRGR launch monitors, are Doppler. It sends out a signal, so it's able to locate where the golf ball is. And that's particularly good when you are outdoors and you can actually see the full extent of the ball flight. What sets the Rapsodo apart is the fact that it also has this camera mounted here at the top of the device, and that basically allows it to use the RPT balls. So it can track the spin rates. I'll get a little bit more into that later in the video. And that basically helps it to perform a lot better in indoor environments or when you're hitting into a net. So obviously camera-based systems, the main ones being the Foresight, GC3, GC4 type systems, or also that's what the SkyTrack systems use. So the feel of them, you have the main console then, which is actually, pretty decent weight to it. You can really feel the kind of quality build in it. The stand, on the other hand, definitely feels very lightweight. It does feel quite flimsy. Obviously, it's beneficial to have it lightweight so that if you're putting it in your bag and you're carrying it around, then that's really good. but it does feel a little bit cheaper, whereas the main unit itself feels really, really good quality product. So the main unit and the base connect in a super simple way. There's no magnets or anything like that. It literally just slots in and then you turn it until it clicks into place. So very simple, feels reasonably sturdy. You can see there is a little bit of wobble in that. As I say, no magnets. So just a very kind of cheap and simple connection. Again, probably designed to stay lightweight and try and keep the cost down on the product overall. And then obviously you've got the power buttons on it and the charge point there on the side of the product. And then we'll get into what really for me makes this product so kind of special and unique, particularly at this price point, which is its unique RPT golf balls. So I've just opened these up. It's like a normal sleeve of golf balls. Obviously, they come with the Callaway Chrome Soft X balls. And you can see that they've got this funky dot pattern around the ball. The camera that is in the unit of the MLM2 Pro itself is obviously able to pick these up as you hit it, and it kind of starts spinning through the air. And that allows it to work out, obviously, one, like the spin rate, and two, the axis in which it's spinning. So that allows it to quite accurately depict how far it goes and also the direction that it goes, which really for me is the kind of key with this. So spin rates is usually the thing that a lot of cheaper products are not able to really accurately get, and that ultimately means that it struggles to really sort of work out the distance that the ball would be traveling, particularly when it doesn't have the full flight. So as I say, with Doppler systems, if it has the full flight of the golf ball, then they're generally pretty fine at being able to work out how far it's actually gone. However, the MLM2 Pro and other camera-based systems, if they can accurately work out the spin, then that means in indoor environments, in your garden, if you're hitting into a net, to be able to get an accurate depiction of how far the ball is going is super, super special to this. One of the other big things that I like about this is that they actually use a pretty decent golf ball. So obviously they use the Callaway Chrome Soft X, and they're working on, they announced that they were going to be doing a Pro V1 RPT golf ball as well, which is particularly great for me because, you know, when you look at tour pros and they talk about what golf balls they're going to be using, you know, if you look at something like the Ryder Cup, the golf ball they use is so important. They literally pick their pairings based off of who is going to be using the same golf balls. Because the golf ball that they use massively makes a difference on how the ball performs around the greens, on how far each of their clubs go, you know, how it mixes with their clubs that have been custom fit to, you know, specific golf balls that they're using. So I think, you know, doing your practice with a golf ball that you would actually use on the golf course is so, so, so important. So if you use a good golf ball like a Chrome Soft X, or obviously like a Pro V, which is probably the most popular for good players, to be able to actually practice, get your distances, get your numbers with the same golf ball that you're going to be using, I think is super important, which is not something that a lot of people have access to. So unless you're going and using the golf ball you use at, you know, maybe a pro shop that has access to a GC Quad or a TrackMan or something like that, I think this really is as close to, you know, what kind of an average consumer is then going to be able to actually use to be able to get accurate numbers with a golf ball that they would use on the course, which that's something that definitely drew me into wanting to be able to use this. The other thing, as I mentioned, is the fact that it can actually work out the direction side to side that the ball would go. So, I mean, people always talk when they do the reviews about how far the golf ball is going and, you know, the kind of carry distance, the height, things like that. But for me, knowing how far it would have gone side to side makes it so much more viable for me to do a lot of practice at home, because I can obviously actually work on my direction, which is just such an important aspect. Obviously, everyone knows how important the direction that they're hitting the golf ball goes. So I think to have accurate numbers around that is really, really key. Comparing this product then to some of the other kind of competitors that it would be up against, the most obvious one then is the Garmin R10. And for me, the big reason I would go for this over the Garmin is purely around accuracy. There's a lot of videos from people like Golficity that have done videos comparing this to the top end ones with the Foresight like GC Quad. And when you have this with the RPT golf balls, Indoors, it really is, just as accurate and comparable to those type of results. Obviously, you don't get the same sort of data, so you don't get the club data. You're not going to get club path, face to path, any of that kind of stuff. So that's why, the top end people would definitely still lean towards that. But if you just want to know how far the ball went, how far it went in either direction, that type of information, then this really was and is comparable to those, obviously, with the RPT golf balls. Whereas the Garmin, from all the different things that I've seen, is much more a device to kind of have fun with. I think it's got a lot better features in terms of simulator, in terms of games, in terms of that type of thing. So if you're just wanting a device to kind of go and play and have fun with, then I definitely think that that is a great option. If you want accurate numbers that you can use to practice, get your distances dialed in and direction and things like that, then the Rapsodo is definitely, for me, a league ahead from all of the things that I've kind of seen with it. And as I say, especially the fact that you can get the numbers with this on the golf balls that you're actually going to be using on the course, then I think that is fantastic. Compared then to some of the more expensive options, if you jump up a price range to kind of some of the Mevo Plus or the SkyTrack Plus type things, I think one of the big benefits of this one is, how portable it is. If you compare it to the SkyTrack, the fact that it, folds up and fits in the bag, is definitely something that you can take either on the golf course if you want to stick it down behind you and get numbers on the golf course. Then I think it's fantastic for that. If you want to see, often your distances might change when you're on a golf course. Smashing drivers away at the range is very different to being on a hole where you got out of bounds down either side. So I think it's really important to try and get practice with this type of device on the golf course as well. See, there are question marks around the SkyTrack a little bit in how well it does outdoors in direct sunlight. If it's a sunny day, you're out in the range, then this is definitely going to be a great option. And as I say, I think in terms of accuracy, it really does compete with those products. So if really, you're concentrated on your practice, you just want good numbers to be able to work from and base your game around, then this absolutely is comparable and competes with some of those really quite expensive ones. Obviously, where they go a step ahead is if you're wanting to use it as a home simulator, then they are, much stronger in terms of that type of thing. And they also provide additional numbers. So, I mean, if you were looking at doing club fitting or teaching and things like that, then obviously you would be looking at some of those more expensive ones because you can explain things much better. But I think probably if you're looking for a product around this type of price range, then this is definitely the one to go for. If you're a club fitter, if you're a coach, you're probably looking even beyond those kind of middle tier products and generally looking sort of at the higher end ones around your GC3, GC4, SkyTrack, not SkyTrack, sorry, TrackMan type devices. For me, this is a no-brainer for anyone that is really kind of serious about their practice and does a lot of practice from home. It works great at home as long as you're using it alongside the RPT golf balls. Obviously, it comes with a few free. You can buy additional ones. They say they are bringing out the Pro V1 soon. And it works fantastic outdoors with its Doppler radar. And so it's able to work out on the course if you want to take it to the driving range and other things like that. So let me know, have you got one of these? Did you go for one of the other competitors? Do you have a different view? If you had one of the other competitors and you think that it's better than this one, would really love to know. As I say, for me, it really is a fantastic product, definitely worth the amount that it costs. I think the advancements in the launch monitor market have been huge. I think its technology with the RPT golf balls that it has really sets it apart from some of the other ones that are kind of just the tech within the product that they have. Definitely, I think they can do still a lot of work on their app and on the kind of play and simulator side of things, but for practice and for information, this really is kind of as good as it gets, and at the price point that it's at, it is fantastic. So that is all from me, and thank you very much.